Oh, hi everybody. Welcome. Look, there's two cameras. This is so weird. I'm used to there just being one right here. Hello. So, you know me, because this is my channel. If you don't know me, welcome, I suppose. You could have been dragged along by one of these nerds. These are my friends. You might recognize them from us playing Dungeons and Dragons together. Some dragon hoisters. I'm joined by, of course, Blue Jay, by Lauren, aka Random Tuesday, and this is Rodney. Rodney has his own camera because he's the game master, and we're going to play his game today. And I don't have to do anything. I just get to be a shitlord and make a character, and I'm so excited.
But I have all the sheets.
I never get to play. So, Rodney, do you want to tell us a little bit about? Some folks probably saw the first look that I did about the game earlier in the week in preparation. So, if you're all prepared, cool. If not, I'll let Rodney tell us just like a little bit about the game.
Yeah, no problem. So this is Spectaculars. It is a tabletop role-playing game where we're going to play superheroes. But the big thing about the game that makes it special is that Spectaculars doesn't come with a default setting of its own. Instead, Spectaculars is all about making your own setting as you play the game. It comes as a box set, and what we've done is basically, I've had a few live streams so far where other streaming groups have created parts of the setting, and now we're going to continue playing in that same setting. The other thing that I've done is I put out a bunch of surveys, and those surveys were answered by people from the internets.
I'm one of those people.
Ah,
Yeah,
very
me
nice.
too.
Yes.
I answered the
I filled
survey.
out the survey because I was like, I'm not going to let chat ruin this for me. I'm going to pick all the stuff I like.
Yeah, and so each of those surveys, they were asking for answers to questions that would normally be asked of me as the narrator, the person running the game. I have sheets here for bad guys, and they have some multiple choice questions on them that I put up on the surveys. So the setting we're going to be playing in is partially created by other streaming groups, partially created by people on the internet, and then partially created by you guys here today when we play a little bit.
Yeah, we're in like fairly august company, right? Like Mark Holmes played, who
that's right.
folks already know from Far Verona, some Penny Arcade folks. So
Yep, Penny Arcade was last week, and then the very first week was Dice Friends, Loading Ready Runs tabletop show. So yeah, we've had some good streams so far.
Cool.
Well, you saved the best for last.
I did,
Obviously.
yes.
Yeah, we saved the best for last, but then Blue Jay showed up and it was going to be great. So yeah, if you're in the chat and you're either interested in learning more about the game, or if somebody comes in partway through the show and they're like, what is this? Exclamation mark Spectaculars in the chat will give you a link to the Kickstarter, and you can find out more about the game there, and you can support it if that's the thing you want to do. I want to play a role-playing game.
Yes.
Can we do that?
We can 100% do that.
We got it.
All right, so before we start playing, let me give you guys a little taste of what this setting that has been created for the game is all about.
Okay.
So, it is the year 1984,
nice.
and in Seattle. But it's not the Seattle that we all know and love.
Wait,
or
are we playing Shadowrun?
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, this sounds familiar.
It's the 80s, and it's Seattle.
real
and
close. All right.
You have a pink mohawk.
There are these corporations. Yeah.
I feel like this game has already been made.
You're
Let's
right.
play a superhero game instead.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I've prepped all this Shadowrun stuff.
Well, you
Why?
know.
But no, it's 1984 Seattle. But it's not the Seattle that actually existed. Instead, you see, what happened was they decided to be rear forward-thinking and build an underground transit system in Seattle, which seems like a really good idea.
I wish we had that.
Yeah, ditto. My lengthy commute wishes we had that too. But anyways, so they were digging the tunnels for this underground transit system, and they dug too deep. And unfortunately, they found or opened or created a dimensional rift. And the bad news is this dimensional rift, it's actually a dimensional rift to hell.
Right. And it's called Renton.
It's called Renton. We are not far from there right now.
So it's Shadowrun Buffy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yes,
Around
exactly.
the hell no.
Everybody knows the Hellmouth is Spokane anyway.
So this dimensional rift, fortunately, is not like a wide open rift to hell. Instead, it's more like a thinning in the realities. And so over the course of the next couple of years, strange things started to happen to in Seattle. Things of an occasionally infernal and then occasionally not so infernal but still supernatural nature. Over time, people started developing superpowers, and it became a place that was sort of a religious pilgrimage site, because people would come from all over because, miracles happened here in addition to all the terrible things that happened as well.
The Costco in this universe must sell some weird stuff.
They do. Occult Costco.
I'm into it.
Yeah, and so so basically, like Seattle has boomed. It's grown in population, like super quickly, and there's a very strong, like I say, infernal and religious presence in the city. But that kind of shapes all different aspects of the world. So, for example, there is a large super science lab just outside the city, and this super science lab, all of their technology is based on discoveries that have been made from this infernal thinning of the rift, right? Or thinning of reality. So, even things like science and modern day or mundane technologies have been influenced by this dimensional rift. So that's the sort of basics, right?
Drake has a song about how you used to call him on your hell phone.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So that's the setting that we're going to be playing in today. And what we're going to do is we're going to start by having you make your characters. So right in front of you, Lauren, are the archetypes. So we're going to start with the archetypes. They are...
You get to play all the characters.
Yeah, you're going to play all the characters. These are your observers.
Cool, fun.
Yeah, so you have some archetypes in front of you. These are sort of your... big high-level views of what different heroes in the various comic book universes typically play out like. So each of you is going to choose one of those. You can choose any one of those 6 that you want, and then you're going to grab those. And then on the front side, you see there's a bunch of multiple-choice questions. And these sort of help you define some sort of basic concepts about who your character is. There's some personality things. You're going to pick 2 of those as well. These don't have any mechanical impact on your character. It's just to sort of help you flesh out who your character is. So we're going to start there. Before you fill out those questions, though, I'm also going to give you some other things, but I'm going to let you go ahead and pick your archetypes first.
So I have 2 very important questions. One,
Yes.
is there an archetype that will allow me to have angel wings? Because I feel like that's important.
There may not be an archetype, but there sure is a power right
Cool.
here
All right.
that would
Really
allow
on the
that.
top. Just
yes.
checking.
Nice.
Just
Right
checking.
on top. Right.
We got this superhero role-playing game, and you can't fly. It's a weird oversight. Who would have thought superheroes could fly?
thunk it?
The second question would be for someone who hasn't played this game before.
Yes.
Are these all of the archetypes in the box? Because they feel very thematic, so I'm wondering.
Yes,
is it
that is a great question. Yeah, so the game actually comes with 4 different campaigns in the box, and they're each themed after a different sort of genre of superheroes, right? So this one that we're going to play the series is called Eldritch Mysteries, and it's about magic and sorcery, and those are definitely 2 of the same things, and the occult and what have you, right? But there's also one for sort of super science adventures like Avengers and Fantastic Four and cosmic and street level, right? So we're playing through the sorcery magic themed series right now. So these are the first 6 archetypes that are revealed for that series. If we were playing a different series, we would have a different set of archetypes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And then we play characters in this, and then take them, and you can play them in like other archetypes later and do the
Yes.
whole Avengers thing. So if we
Nice.
make
Yes.
like Blade and Morbius and Doctor Strange, one of those 3 characters gets their own like a big movie and gets to join the Avengers.
That's
The other
right.
2,
Yeah, the 2.
not a lot of
No.
Morbius in the
No.
Marvel Cinematic Universe these days.
Yet.
Shall I read?
Yeah,
out
yeah.
By all
Read
means.
out the options, and then we can fight over them.
Here, you do this 2, you do this 2, and I'll do
Okay.
these 2.
So you can be either a sorcerer or an occultist.
The supernatural entity, which I see angel here, so
Yeah.
I'm kind of
Yeah.
legendary warrior.
And I have Monster Hunter and Avatar.
I mean, you're talking about Doctor Strange, so I think I'm just
Ooh.
going to go with sorcerer because I'm the sorcerer supreme TM.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah, you want to be the sorcerer?
Yeah,
Sorcerer.
that's me.
Okay. Are you gonna go super?
I was leaning
Got it.
supernatural entity because I brought up angel wings.
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
I
so
mean,
I feel
if
like,
there's
but I
a-
could also be a ghost. So
If there's a hell, then like
I really like you. Did you notice what just happened there? So we're all picking some because I'm gonna be a monster
Yeah.
hunter. We all picked because we're already like these are mine.
I mean,
These 2, I said their name.
very
you can't have
as
possessive.
soon
them.
as I
Yeah.
saw there was a Monster Hunter book, I was like, "That's Adam.
I'm gonna
Adam's
be,
gonna be
I'm
the
gonna
Monster
be that
Hunter."
one. Well, it says
I thought,
examples.
like these occultists does sound pretty cool.
My
too,
examples are Blade and Hellboy, and they're both awesome. So
Oh, what
Yeah.
are my
I
Alright,
just
so
wanna-
any of the leftover ones just hand back down here, and I'll put them out of the
Dr.
way.
Dr. Fate. Got it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes
I
sense.
didn't even see where what.
On the top here.
Oh, Ghost Rider. Yeah, no, I don't care. I just like angels. I
Cool.
like people who are.
Yes, sir.
Just gonna be real here. We're going.
Oh yeah, get
Go
that.
that route.
All right.
GM in chat there.
Okay, so before we start digging into the questions, I'm going to hand out the other components that you're going to need to make your character. So here's a stack of cards. If you'd be so kind as to pass those down.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, so there's two kind of cards that I'm handing you right now. The purple-backed cards are your
These are my second.
identities. You're going to pick one of those identities, and that's what represents who you are in your civilian life, right? The other ones, the greenback cards, are your powers. And you're going to pick 1, 2, or 3 of those. And when we get a little bit further in, I can explain a little bit more about why you would pick fewer than 3.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
Additionally, not to throw too much at you once, but additionally, you can choose from these generic powers that I have, or
Right.
general powers that I have up here. Pretend like these were in the cards that I dealt you, right? So I have Flight, Energy Blast, Signature Weapon, Super Toughness, and Super Strength. So basically, you can choose from these in addition to choosing from the powers that I have dealt to you.
Character creation is so fun. I just want to pick the silliest stuff and mix it together. These
can
are
do
good. Cool. Okay.
It's your character,
Let's
Adam.
see.
Is there a difference between like red versus blue versus green?
So you shouldn't have any green ones. Do you have a green one?
Not
Is-
here.
oh, okay.
I have like the green power.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, okay, I see.
I guess
yeah.
I see.
It
it's
is,
blue
yeah. It's
card.
just
Sorry.
these are printouts. Yeah. So
The top of
the
the
different colors. Basically, there's a set that are the common powers and the common identities. Those are the blue ones. Those are the ones that are always available to every. That
okay.
you always build the deck with those. And then the red ones are specific to this series, right? So basically, I created this deck by shuffling the general cards and the setting specific ones, and I smushed them together, and then that's why you got that arrangement. If we were playing like the Cosmic
I
one,
mean-
you would have a different set of cards in there.
I feel like I can't be a reporter because that's not edgy enough.
Not edgy enough.
Oh, did I put an Edgelord card in
Super
there?
edgy.
No, well, I got Outcast and Thief, so if
Okay,
I can
then-
combine them together,
Yeah.
then yeah. let's go.
Yeah, like I'm looking at my powers, and I really want to be part of the greatest generation, the laser generation. I'm
Okay,
like
so-
Blade, but I can shoot lightning.
So
on
we
there.
can do any of these or
Blazer.
any of those.
right.
Yeah, so basically, if you flip over to the back of your archetypes real quick,
Okay.
you'll see that along the right-hand side there are 3 slots for your superpower, your lesser power, and your
Oh.
minor power.
Okay.
So each of your powers that you choose are going to go into one of those 3 slots.
Mhm.
So you can choose either from the cards that I dealt you or from
Right.
these cards up here, and mixing and match, right? So you could have one of these and one of the ones that I dealt out to you.
Okay.
Cool.
So I could take Life Drain and Darkness Manipulation. I mean, I feel like that's
Sure.
And so
fallen
in
angel
a
territory right
in
there.
in a normal game of this, we would be drawing these from like a larger deck, right? Like
Yes,
we
and
would've been
we
given
and I
5.
did. Like I
Yeah,
have, I have the
perfect.
deck right
Okay.
here, right? I
Yeah.
just went ahead and dealt them out. to
Yeah,
you.
totally. Okay, cool.
I could
Um,
also
So-
be Jubilee and take Dazzle.
Ooh, that's real good.
Okay, well, I've by process of elimination, I figured out what I want my identity to be because my options are firefighter, clergy, and actor, and I'm taking firefighter and actor and I'm throwing them out. And I'm gonna
Yeah,
be
you are.
gonna be a cool priest.
Okay.
There you go. All right,
Yeah.
sounds good.
Sorry,
Cool
Yeah,
monster
yeah,
hunting
thanks, dude.
priest. Rad.
I think
My
I'm-
options were musician, historian, or archaeologist, and I was like, I was conflicted in between archaeologist and historian, and then I saw that the archaeologist has a sneak around skill, and stealth is always important.
You know those sneaky archaeologists.
sneaky
You
archaeologists.
do occasionally have to sneak past people that don't want
So-
you to loot their cultural artifacts.
Yeah.
right.
So I
The
think
real
we're
villain
gonna-
is you. is the thing.
I mean, that's pretty common. I'm pretty used to that. So you can choose just 2.
Yes, absolutely. So
Um,
if you notice in
I'm-
your
yeah, let's talk about that.
yeah, if you notice in your
Definitely
lesser
picking
power and your minor
Outcast.
power slots,
Yeah.
there are these hero point icons, right? The little flying superhero symbol.
Yes.
So if you choose a power that goes in one of those slots, that power is going to cover up those symbols.
Uh-huh.
It means you're going to get fewer hero points to play with. If you leave that slot open, you get more hero points to play with. And
clever.
hero points are kind of they're a resource that you spend to do exceptional things, and they can kind of tweak the dice in your favor and let you do more teamwork maneuvers and things like that. So you're basically choosing: do you want to have more, tokens to spend, or do you want to have more powers?
I
Okay.
see you've designed a game before.
I have made one or two. Yes.
Cool. I kind of want to just like pick mostly generic ones. I want to pick one. So my options are laser generation, electricity.
generation.
Yeah, the greatest generation. Electricity. That's how we fought World War II. Electricity manipulation, clairvoyance, which is seeing and hearing as though I were somewhere else. Animate objects and sound manipulation. But I sort of just want to go like super strength, super toughness, and like signature weapon, or maybe super strength and toughness, and then like Clairvoyance, like visions from God or something, because I'm like
If you
super priest.
Cover them up.
Super
Do you get
priest.
any hero points?
Yeah, so you get 1 by default.
Okay.
Also, I will point out that each of these common powers up here have a single hero point symbol on them. So basically, they're like a halfway step. So you get
Okay.
1 hero point and a power.
Right. Chat
I like
has
the idea of
pointed out.
clairvoyance.
Chat has pointed out that I am yet again playing a cleric.
Yep, I noticed that. Yep.
Why?
Listen, if you
So I
have a
have-
type, you have a type.
I do. I can't. Oh man.
I've got some sweet life drain,
Yeah.
darkness manipulation. Alternatively, I could take dazzle as well, so I can just light and dark.
Right.
One
Yeah.
in each
Take
hand.
take dazzle, then you get all the cool disco
Yeah.
superpowers and the biggest hair in the party.
Armor.
I mean, it's only 1984,
and
so
time
you know,
manipulation,
disco's not quite
so-
dead.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. We can be so manipulative.
I'm going hard into the Doctor Strange of my class because I had here astral projection was the first one that came up, and I was like, yes.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Transmutation, so causing
Nice.
objects to transform. And then there's also animal manifestation, which is not manifesting animals, but turning yourself into parts of animals.
Right. So you can't summon reef sharks. or
Yeah,
anything.
no reef sharks.
All right.
Transformation, which is sort of like animal manifestation, except for not necessarily animals. And then corrosion, which is also cool, but I think it's a little more evil. And I'm trying to be a good person while I sack tombs. you know?
None of these cards are alignment cards. So you being a good person's on you.
and it does. How does the which slot we put it in impact it?
Sure. So if you take
like
a look,
I get
there's
the
a
percentage
percentage chance of success
Okay,
on each
cool.
one of them. So the slot you put it into is going to determine your chance of success when you roll dice for that power.
Cool. I am definitely going with. I'm going light and dark. I
Okay.
gotta
Okay,
take
that
those, and
sounds
then
good.
I talked it up too much to not take flight.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I can't, like,
Yeah.
I can't not have
You
that.
spend all of character creation. Be like, can I be an elf? Can I be an elf? Can I be an elf? Okay, now you have to
I'm
pick if
a
you're an elf or not.
tiefling.
Yeah, you're like, nah, I don't want to be an elf. And the GM's like, I wrote elf
Pass.
rules just for
Hard pass.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
But
feel,
I'm not good at flying. No,
I
I'm not good at light.
feel like.
I'm very good at flying.
Can I have energy blast?
Absolutely.
I would love energy blast.
you. Yeah, that makes
I was
sense for you.
considering not having energy blast, but I think I'm.
So
gonna
where did
take
you
it.
land? Transmuting.
Transmutation, astral projection, and energy blast.
Nice.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
And then what'd
I
you
have
take?
flight, darkness manipulation, and dazzle.
Okay.
Nice.
All right.
So many themes.
will
Yeah, I
blind you.
definitely went with the tough priest. I had super strength, super toughness, and then I have a 60% chance of clairvoying, but we'll
God
see.
might step in.
Yeah, God's like, nah, you got this one. This one's on you.
Punch it.
All right. So now that you've picked your identities and your powers,
Okay.
now
I
flip
need
your
to,
thing
like-
back over to the other
yeah,
side,
yeah.
and you got some multiple choice questions to answer that'll help
Yeah.
you basically say like who you are, help you
Oh,
decide
I'm-
your personality, and then when you're done with that, all you got left is you need to pick a name for your hero,
my
which
God.
will be on the back side as well. So while you guys are just reading some multiple choice questions, I can explain to the audience a
Yeah,
little
do
bit
it.
about how I'm going to use their answers to the survey to shape today's issue. So one of the questions I asked was, who is the villain? Basically, I, the narrator, have a choice between two different villain archetypes, either an evil telepath or a malicious entity. And in this particular case, it looks like the audience picked the malicious entity.
Oh yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. So what I'm going to do is, like they are doing right now, is I have some multiple choice questions that I'm going to be answering on the front side of the malicious entity. On the back are all of this bad guy's special abilities, and then there are some perks and some weaknesses that were chosen through the survey as well that I'll be filling out, so that basically this particular malicious entity that I'm going to be creating is going to be different than another one that you might create in a future game that where you're playing this. So
Oh, I have to pick a name. Oh shit.
yes, a name would be good.
I'm gonna just look some stuff up real fast.
So how seriously do we want to take this setting? Like, it's gritty and stuff, and like
Um,
obviously the characters understand that it is, but like one of my options for getting around is a vehicle, and I can't think of anything but a super Pope mobile now. So, and I kind of
I'm
just
just thinking
want
like
to
a hearse.
I kind of want to just play like the Battle Pope, like.
Yeah, play the Battle Pope.
Battle
I mean,
Pope.
I kind of want to
so
be like the literal Pope, but I have superpowers.
I
Oh,
picked
God damn it,
Ghastly
Adam.
Transformation because I'm going with the like creepy, terrifying angels, like
Okay.
the seraphim. Like they just turn into a ball of eyes and wings,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
it's
Gross.
yeah, it's real gross.
As in the Bible.
Yeah. It's not pleasant.
Okay. I'm trying to go with like what the story has already been put forth as. So like one of the things here is like where does the sorcery you have come from? Like where
Is it because
tradition?
Is it because you're half witch and you can't decide whether you still love your mortal boyfriend or not?
Oh my god. But I was just going like he was saying that the Hellmouth opened and then people started getting powers or whatever. So it makes more sense that it were self-taught than like ancient teachings, right?
Yeah.
So-
Well, there's also the trope of like ancient teachings that suddenly are real, right? That it's like all these magic tricks. Like once we opened, the
Right. It was all
Costco
just
portal to hell.
It was all just bullshit, and now
Yeah, and now all the bullshit is empowered.
Okay, I'm just looking up a list of famous fallen angels, and I would like to point out that I might take this name, Amy.
Amy, goddess of hairdos.
Name
Yeah,
of
that
a
makes sense.
fallen angel who was a president in hell.
Cool,
Do you know
President Amy.
Angels have
Good.
They have
presidents.
presidents?
Yeah, there is.
Okay.
You know
This
what?
is what
Hell is very
Angelicopedia tells me.
Amy.
This does not seem like a reputable site.
It might not be, but it does give me the name Amy.
Okay.
Ugh, this is gonna be just excellent. Okay. Gotta remember all this. So, my sorcerer. I need a name for my sorcerer.
Oh my god, I have a really good name for my character.
I mean, you know, one of the most famous sorcerers is Doctor Strange, so it's not like you have to really...
Yeah, the
Yeah.
bar
Reach
is
on-
really
yeah.
low.
You're Professor Weird. Well, like, so where did your magic come from? Like, did you discover an ancient hail artifact while you were an archaeologist? Or I mean, you don't need to like
Ooh.
worry too much about that because there is actually like a phase for doing your backstory, but like getting an idea about like what you're.
I figured it was actually like study, right? Like
So you're just a nerd, a hell nerd.
A hell nerd, yeah.
Nice.
Because I was gonna go with historian, but I figured archaeologist was cooler, but probably like a more professorial archaeologist in that like I'm teaching and
Okay.
researching,
Amy.
and less like
This
I'm
is
going
funny.
to sites and digging stuff.
Uh-huh.
I'm more like a less action adventure Indiana Jones. I'm like the one that stayed in the classroom.
Right, they're like, we need you to come find this thing, and you're like, no.
Nah.
No.
You can bring it here, and I'll
Alright.
take a look at
I think
it.
you should just write Amy in both slots.
It doesn't have a hero name.
Amy and Amy.
It's Amy. And that's the thing. I am Amy. And like, sure, that's your name.
Sure, okay.
Fear me.
Oh my god, if your character, Chad had a great suggestion. Blue Jay, if your character studies the powers of hell, you could be the undergraduate.
God
That's
damn.
amazing. So good.
I'm gonna be I'm just a historian. Yeah, well, suddenly you get magic. It's fine. I'm gonna do the Doctor Strange thing though, where it's like, "What's your name, Doctor Strange?" But what's your
Yeah,
real
my
name?
character, my
Yeah.
character is
Doctor
just my character is just my
Strange.
real name, but it's like super edgy in '90s comic book.
Yeah.
Mine
Yeah.
is Amy.
Amy, yeah, Amy the Angel.
That's amazing.
Mine's
Fear
Amy.
me.
Okay. So let's see here. It seems like we're down to names and such. We're getting pretty close.
Yep.
All right. So each of you has a field that you'll see that's called hero points per conflict.
Yep.
So that's going to be 1 plus the number of hero points that are exposed. If you have, let's see, it looks like.
I think we're all greedy.
Do
We
all of
took
you have
three.
all
We all
three?
took three
Okay, cool.
powers, yeah.
So
Oh,
it's going to be 1 plus 1 for
2.
each of your basic powers.
Yeah, so I have 3 because I took super strength and super toughness,
Right.
which
and
are
I
regular
have
type
2
powers.
because yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Okay.
Great. So you just write that in that field, and then I will hand out the completely
Points.
placeholder tokens
Yeah.
here.
You see the
Fear
email?
me, for I am Amy.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good image. Yeah.
Thank you.
what I'm
Wait,
waiting
what
for.
is it?
You down there.
And I'm just thinking FUCK me now.
This is good.
The
Yeah.
Britney Spears song,
Yeah.
"If You Seek Amy."
Yep.
Find me.
Britney Spears. How old? She would be like
there's
negative
a
an
cat.
amount of old.
Oh, I
Yeah,
got
she's
confused.
Yes, I do have a cat.
Okay.
Britney Spears, you know the destined owner of the Spear of Longinus.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's her birthright.
Yes, it is. You should know this.
Yeah.
You're a cardinal.
That's right. That's right.
If you would hand these down to Lorna Blue Jay, that'll be theirs.
Okay, those are yours there.
Thank you. Duckins.
Cool.
Bless you, cat. That's the tiniest little cat sneeze.
She is. Yes.
So cute.
Okay. And so you want to make sure that your cards are not covering up your percentage chance of success on all your powers. Excellent. Okay, so normally at this point we would just start playing. But because this is the last stream of the Kickstarter, we're going to pretend that this is our second session playing these characters, and I'm going to have you all fill out your aspiration and turmoil. And so I've got an extra sheet here. This is for campaign progress tracking. So each of you want to grab one of those. Also on the back of each of those sheets is a place to take notes if you want.
Oh, cool.
So each of you is going to fill out an aspiration and a turmoil. And these are things that you struggle with in your life, that being a hero makes it harder to deal with those things. An aspiration is exactly what it sounds like. It's a thing that you want to accomplish. So like, hey, I'm Spider-Man. I want to have a relationship with Mary Jane, or I want to be, a famous scientist or whatever.
I want to have not let Gwen Stacy die.
Yeah, well, we don't always get what we want.
That's right.
But
so the turmoil is like a tension between your superhero stuff and your not superhero stuff?
Yeah, exactly. It's basically something that is it's already hard in your life that is made even more difficult by being a hero, right? So this is like, Spider-Man has to take care of Aunt May, right? But sometimes he is unable to do so because he's in the middle of a fight with Green Goblin or something, right?
Sure.
Usually you write these in the first person, so it's like, I want to blah, or I have to blah, or I need to whatever, right? And so I'm just going to have each of you write one of those. These are basically used to sort of chart your character's like growth and change over time on like a personal level, right? And they are sort of a source of tension between your life as a civilian and your life as a superhero. So normally we would do this like after the first session,
totally.
right? But we're gonna play pretend this time.
Okay,
I love playing
so
pretend.
obviously as the professor, my turmoil is that I'm up for tenure.
Oh, that's great.
And if I miss too many of my classes, then obviously I'm not going to get it.
That's great. Yeah, that's exactly the kind of thing that this should be.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Does that mean I have to be a
I have
professor
to
for
actually-
like 10 years? Is that when you get tenure?
Is it?
No,
I don't
it's
think
not
it's
actually 10 years. Not anymore. I think it used to be.
I think that's...
You know it's not spelled 10 years, right?
No, I do.
I'm a professor. I have 10 years. 10 years of what? I don't know, but they said I have it now.
Things?
So experience points.
10 years of XP.
I guess I haven't thought about who I am
Oh, man,
outside
my-
of being a fallen angel. Huh.
My turmoil is I'm haunted by the ghost of my dead sister, Evangeline.
Oh my god.
And my aspiration is that I will rid the earth of the demons that have escaped from hell. That's great. Listen, my character's name is Cardinal Ransom Dark. He's Cardinal Dark. It's spelled D-A-R-Q-U-E.
Oh,
God
so
damn.
good.
Yeah, you better believe I've got both a trench coat and multiple katana.
Oh my god.
I know my aspiration is that I want to clear my name and return to the kingdom of heaven. I have not figured out my turmoil, which is probably I really don't like being a good person.
I hate having to abide by all these rules.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it
Like,
could be
law
maybe it could be
abiding
something.
is
Maybe
very
it could be something
difficult.
about like your relationship with humans in general. Like maybe you have to
true.
get over your so what I did with my turmoil was like, because I wanna be able to bring this up, so I have an NPC that I can just call on all the time, right? Like
Yeah.
Evangeline, my dead sister. So maybe you have like a human sidekick who you're like, I wish I could just kill them because they're so annoying. But
Oh,
like,
kill me,
they
kill
need me.
I'm so annoying.
You're right? Like maybe you have like what's the Superman's little annoying friend? What's that little pissant's name? Jimmy?
Jimmy Olsen?
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, maybe you have a
Little
Jimmy Olsen.
pissant's
I
name.
hate that
I was
guy.
like, Lois?
Yeah, no, I kind of went the joke. Like, I feel like he likes her.
Yeah, they get along okay. Listen, Cardinal Dark wouldn't have it with any other way. You back off. I got katanas and probably a shotgun.
I just want
And
to
I'm drawn by Rob Liefeld, so I have no feet.
No feet.
Lots of
No
pouches.
Feet
mistakes.
and a massive chest, just
yeah, I'm
all
shaped
chest.
shaped like a triangle. Yeah, yeah, it's perfect.
I think we're going with. I mean, yeah, turmoil. Just I don't know what it's like to be human.
Yeah,
so that's
right?
probably complicated.
Oh, I love playing characters like that. It's so fun, because then you get to like marvel at things like Burger King. Yeah, that's good. I'm into
They're like,
it.
you have to live for a human, and I'm like, I have to do a what now?
Yeah.
Like, well, you made a mistake. I'm like, no, I did the right thing.
Like starting to really rethink that whole not going with Satan thing in the beginning.
Yeah. I feel like you had a really solid plan.
You had your choice, and then
Okay.
I don't know what I want to aspire for. I want to retire.
Discover something nobody's ever discovered before, or
Learn the secrets of the universe through magic.
yeah.
I want to be the very best, like no one ever was.
Yeah, I mean, that's a legit aspiration. Just maybe the best at something specific.
Yeah, not just the best.
Best
Yeah.
at what? Whatever.
Yeah.
Just
Every-
something.
Am I
and-
better
and-
than you yet? No, then
I'm just
working
going
towards
through
it.
all of the skills that
Yeah,
I have.
Blue Jay's character makes you a sandwich. You're like, it's pretty good. And she's like, but it's not the best. You're like, no. And she just runs away crying.
Yeet the sandwich.
That's right. What's your? I'll give Blue Jay. So what's your character's name? Is just
Amy.
right? Okay.
Amy,
the
and then
Angel.
people ask for her last name, Amy of the. I don't know. Does heaven have circles?
I don't think so. I think hell has circles. Heaven probably has some kind of like
I think
pyramid
it has-
scheme
yeah,
with God at the top.
It's got some way of categorizing angels.
The Octagons.
Yeah,
I think
I'm
they're,
gonna
I
look
think they're
this up.
organized into choirs traditionally.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Amy of the 14th choir.
Amy the Angel, and then Blue Jay. What's your character's name?
Professor Lydia Harding.
Professor Harding. Okay. Got it.
Oh God, you're that person. They're like, Professor Harding. She's such a hard ass.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
Okay, cool. Professor
My
Harding.
my character personality traits are sarcastic and grandiose.
Perfect.
So
yeah.
I heard that was good for.
I went with
think,
cynical
a
and
shitty
gruff.
teacher.
If that was
I went with bitter and creepy.
perfect. This is great.
But I might do eccentric and creepy instead of bitter. No, I'm bitter.
very bitter about
I'm
your
stuck here.
prisoner life on Earth.
That's
The
right.
worst.
Cool.
Stupid.
Okay, I
rift.
figured it out. I want to be the foremost expert on the Hellmouth.
There you go.
Nice.
Oh, perfect.
All right. There you go.
Oh, spheres.
Okay.
And then choirs.
there you go.
Sure.
I don't know. We're going Amy of the 14th choir.
This is a great thing about role-playing games, where you'll go in and you don't know anything about a thing, and then like
Now I know
4
stuff about
hours
angels.
later, you're like, wait a second, I'm an expert on this totally random esoteric
I know
bullshit.
everything about this.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. I know everything about angels now because I played a role-playing game once.
Rad.
Okay.
Sorry.
Cool.
All right. So it seems
So,
like everybody has
Cardinal Dark.
has their aspirations and turmoils.
Yeah.
Okay. So if this were in fact the second session, we would open with aspiration and turmoil scenes. So the way it works is at the start of every issue, each session that we're going to sit down and play, each one of you is going to have a chance to create a scene that is your character trying to do something to improve their aspiration or their turmoil in some way, right? Like some action that they would take to make that aspect of their life better or less painful or what have you, right? And so each one of you is going to describe like the nature of the scene, what your character is doing. Usually I like to frame it as, tell me what your character would want to accomplish. Tell me where they're going to go to get it, how they're going to get it, who they're going to deal with, those kind of things. And so you're going to frame the scene that way, and then I will help introduce the interesting complications that come along with that. And so each one of you is going to get to do that. It's something we do at the start of each session because you think about a comic book, like especially like you read Spider-Man or things like that, a lot of times it opens up with a glimpse of their lives outside of being a hero, right? So what we're doing is each one of you is going to do one of those scenes, and that will lead us into the issue proper. You can do them in any order you want to. You can include other heroes in the scene if you would like, or invite them along if you would like. But basically, you're going to set up for me what exactly you're trying to do to improve either your aspiration or your turmoil.
Okay.
So you're going to pick one of those two, basically.
I got my scene.
All right, let's hear it.
So it starts in my office, which is a horrible mess. Bookshelves on like every wall that are completely full, mostly of knickknacks, not so many books. Lots of things that have not been dusted in ever, basically. And I'm sitting behind my desk, which is customarily covered in papers and just a complete mess, and looking at a file folder, a resume, as it were. And Professor Harding, she's probably mid to late 30s, shorter, black hair that she has up but gets like messy all the time. She's wearing a pantsuit with the blouse is just like undone a little bit, no like tie or anything. And she's looking at this resume, and there's a student in front of her, and she clears her throat and says, well, it looks like you're free on Thursdays and Fridays for the afternoon classes, but not the morning classes. And what she's doing is she's interviewing a TA to try and like cover some of her classes.
Got it.
So that she doesn't get too behind.
That's great. Okay, yeah. So you're basically trying to find some help to make it so that when you get pulled away to deal with supernatural things, as you often do, it doesn't cause your class to suffer for that.
Exactly.
Okay, great. All right, yeah, that sounds good. Okay, so you're interviewing this student, or this TA, and you go through the whole process, and you kind of work with them to, ask a few questions, and you have a little bit of a back and forth. You're not feeling super great about this TA, but beggars can't be choosers in some ways too, right? So you may also have a bit of a reputation for, putting a lot of work on your TAs.
I wonder why.
I don't know. So it's been a somewhat tense interview. The student or the TA is unsure about you. You're a little unsure about them, and you're kind of relieved when there's a knock on the door that someone is coming to interrupt you, right? And basically, barging into the room is another teacher, and basically they knock on the door, and before you can even say come in or just a minute or whatever, the door swings open. This other teacher comes in. He's an older guy. He's probably in his late 50s, salt and pepper hair. He's a pretty blustery guy, right? His name is Professor Johnson, and Professor Johnson is he's been here a little bit longer than you. He lords that over you pretty frequently, and he comes in and he sees you're interviewing the CA and says, "Oh, good, you found my candidate. Listen, I was just on my way to come and interview you. I see you've been talking to what's your character's name again? Sorry,
Lydia, Professor Lydia Harding.
Right. I see you've been talking to Lydia, and he uses your first name.
Ooh. Of course he does.
Because he's a jerk. And he says, I see you've been talking to Lydia. That's great. Listen, I'm ready for you now if you'll come in. Thanks for keeping him occupied while I took care of some business." This guy's trying to 100% poach your TA candidate.
Excuse me, Professor Johnson, if you wouldn't mind, just a second. Just stay there. Don't. And he's like, the kid's already packing up his bag, and I'm just like, no, just wait. And I pull Professor Johnson into the hallway, and I'm like, what do you think you're doing?
He says, "Well, I have need of a TA, and this young man seems to be a likely candidate for what I need."
Well, as you can see, I was just in the process of getting his schedule worked out. He's already my TA, so you can't have him.
Well, I think that's up to him to decide now, isn't it?
Well, I don't think that you would like him. He's not even available in the mornings, and the mornings are when most of your classes are. So you should just not
steal him. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So basically, it sounds like you're trying to kind of. Would you say you're trying to intimidate him into backing down, or?
I think that they've had enough run-ins before that she doesn't really think he's going to be intimidated by her.
All right.
It's more of like a convince.
Okay.
Or
perhaps you'd like to roll some dice for me.
I would love to.
Do you have a skill on your identity that would apply here?
I have anything else.
Anything else? Sounds wonderful. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to roll some dice for me. You're going to roll anything else.
Okay.
So you have a 50% chance of success on that. So grab some percentile dice.
Okay.
Now, let's see here. This, you said you had some run-ins with this guy before?
Oh, yes. Oh, definitely.
Okay.
He called me by my first name.
He did call you by your first name.
Yeah.
Would you say that in the past, in your run-ins, he has gotten the upper hand more, or you have?
I feel like he has. You said he's been here longer than me.
Yes.
He's also a man,
So in academia.
So it's probably the case that he's gotten his way more often than not. And there's a part of Lydia that would really love to just give it to him, but she doesn't have tenure yet.
Okay.
So she could lose her job.
Okay.
You know?
So why don't you go ahead and give me this roll, and I'm going to have you add 1 challenge die in on the roll.
What is the challenge die?
I'm so glad you asked. Thank you. Spectaculars.
We're here to help.
Thank you. Spectaculars uses a dice system that I call the 100 AC system. It basically uses percentile dice for success and failure. So anything you try and do, you're going to roll your percentile dice. You're going to have a particular chance of success that you're trying to roll under that number.
Got it.
Yeah, that's the basic binary success fail for what you're trying to attempt. However, there are also advantage dice and challenge dice, and they represent positive and negative circumstances, respectively, surrounding your roll. So in this case, the negative circumstance is that you've had past run-ins with this guy, and he's gotten the upper hand, so you're probably maybe a little bit off balance when you're making this roll, right?
Obviously.
So you're gonna make the roll.
Is this the
that
skull?
black die
The one
is-
with the one with the skull, not the
They look
nice
so
one with
happy.
the little
It's got a
exclamation mark.
skull on it.
I love the skull dice.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so go ahead and give me a roll for that.
Okay, let's get all these other skulls out of the way. Ooh, big money, big money. I got 48, but I also got a skull.
Okay, so you
So-
succeeded,
but
you got a drawback. Okay,
Yes.
great. All right, so in this particular case, you were trying to convince him to back off, right?
Yes.
All right. So seeing that you are fighting for this TA, and he's not just going to be able to swoop in and steal your candidate from you, he kind of blusters a little bit, and he's like, "Well, fine. I'll have no difficulty finding someone else. Good luck with Mr. What was his name again? It's not important. Who cares? Stupid TA. And so he sort of turns on his heel and stalks off. And before he's even halfway down the hall, he's already yelling at somebody else, harassing them down the hallway.
Good. Yep.
But you manage to get him to, basically leave your candidate alone. You're able to go back. You're able to finish the interview without.
I turn back to my office. I say, Steven, oh good, you're still here.
Right. And so he. So you're basically able to complete the hiring process. You get your TA. Hooray.
Yay.
So that goes well. What you don't see, because you're too flustered by Professor Johnson's interference and also by the fact that you had to hire this TA, is that there was somebody outside your office peering in. You didn't notice this, but we, the comic book readers,
Right.
noticed the
dark
shadowy
figure,
face
yeah.
in the bushes that was watching you. Unfortunately, you did not manage to notice their
Rats.
yes.
Foiled again.
And then when you leave your office, then we sort of see your character exit, and then the rest of us see this shadowy figure slides open the window, creeps inside, and goes over to your bookshelf full of knickknacks and curios, and starts sifting through it, pulls something off the shelf, and then exits with it.
Thief.
All right, so that was Blue Jays. That was great. Professor Harding?
Harding, yeah.
Yes, Professor Harding. Success there. You basically, because you succeeded in your interlude scene, you're going to mark off 1 checkbox on your story progress track,
Yeah.
which is on the front. So basically, hooray, you're
Boom.
closer to getting a story reward. All right, who would like to go next?
I have an idea.
You go.
Great.
So, do we know what time of year this is? I was kind of imagining it was
no one has said it
present
yet, so
day.
I assume you can just
current
send it.
current time of year.
Sure,
So
it could be.
Sometime
Oh
when
my God,
school
can
is
this be
in
a Christmas
session.
issue? Can it be?
yeah, that's what I was
Nice.
thinking because
The cardinal loves Christmas. It's the birth of Christ.
Amy, they are trying to do good deeds. That's something that will help them both with understanding humanity and also with getting back into heaven. They believe this to be true. So they are in a grocery store and they have heard of these things called food drives. And so they are just taking things off of a shelf and putting them into a cart.
Okay.
But they do not understand the concept of money or buying goods.
Sure.
So they are probably just going to walk out
Yeah.
with the cart
Right.
Okay.
full of food. And this is the scene. And I think they look very bedraggled, like they've probably got a long a coat on that's
Oh
like
my
a,
God,
like
do you
a
have, so do you
kind
have
of a crappy raincoat.
Do you have wings all the time? And you have
Oh,
to,
yeah,
hide
yeah, there's,
them
like,
under your
the-
big
Okay.
coat, so
big-
you look like okay,
So
yeah.
it looks like you're wearing
Like-
a coat with
like a
a
big-
backpack underneath.
with a
right?
backpack underneath,
Under
yeah,
the
like-
coat.
Sort of mid-length, probably that very bleachy blonde hair,
Yeah.
pulled back in a ponytail.
She-Ra blonde.
Yeah, that She-Ra blonde. It's pulled back into a high ponytail, and then just kind of an old T-shirt, and just nothing looks nice. They look
Homeless.
maybe not
They
homeless, but kind of. Yeah,
Almost homeless.
they look almost homeless. They're not. they're not an appealing person to look at. And definitely, but the like very piercing, like gray eyes of like, I will stare into your soul, and that's just the face they give everyone.
Right. Okay. All right. So
If you don't blink.
Yeah. All right. So you've got this shopping cart full of food.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That is going to be taken for a donation.
Yeah.
Obviously, right? And you're making your way to the front of the store, and your intent is to just basically walk out with it?
Yes, this is a good deed. I am doing a good deed now.
You are.
Okay. All right. You probably don't notice when a couple of cashiers sort of turn to watch you just like go by, continue on your oblivious way. But what stops you is not actually anyone from the store's employees coming and stopping you or anything like that. What actually stops you, or causes you to pull up short, is this guy basically stumbles out in front of your cart, and he's kind of tall and skinny and very bedraggled, is how you would describe him, right? He's
Much like
I was
Amy.
like, yeah, it's like staring into a mirror.
it's a lot like Amy, except this guy, he's wearing like a t-shirt. It's cold outside, right? He's wearing like a wholly ratty t-shirt, no coat at all. He's kind of stumbling and rubbing his arms. He comes staggering forward, and he's got this look in his eyes, this look of desperation. And he staggers towards you. And would you say that, in general, your character looks more masculine, feminine, androgynous?
I think it depends on the person looking.
Depends
at
on the
them.
person
yeah,
looking? Okay,
I think
great.
the person makes an assumption, and Amy doesn't care because
Okay,
they
great.
don't understand.
Perfect. All right, so this guy comes staggering towards you, and he's kind of rubbing his arms, and he staggers in front of your cart. You kind of come up to an abrupt halt, and he looks up at you, and he says, "Hey, man, listen." And he sort of looks at your full cart. He looks at your clothes, looks at your full cart, and you can see he's kind of doing the mental math, right? And he says, listen, can I just get a few bucks? I gotta catch a bus and call my relatives, and I need gas money. And he basically like kind of stops you and leans on your cart. And he's asking you for money, and it's clear he's a little bit out of it.
I have like looks in the cart and picks something up. Marshmallow fluff.
Come on, man! If you can afford all this stuff, you can afford to throw me a few bucks.
Afford? This is a gift.
Yeah.
One does not afford a gift. One is given one, and then hand the marshmallow.
Let
fluff.
me anoint you with the sacred sugars.
He kind of swats it out of your hand, and he's like, "I don't want that. I want money." And he's kind of like, as the two of you interact, his voice is getting louder and louder, and more heads are kind of turning in your direction. So this could obviously go pretty badly for your character. Not only are you walking out with a bunch of groceries, but also this guy is causing a bit of a ruckus.
I think when they throw the marshmallow fluff that I have offered to the ground,
that is the fluff of Christ.
They get into Amy's space too much, like They do this thing where they take the coat off because they do this, and then the wings pop out and looms over them and says, "This is not for you. Leave this place, human."
Okay.
Nice.
There's the cackling that voice, it's the Galadriel
So you
all
just-
she
yeah,
loves
you
me
just-
in despair
Just
moment.
Gandalf, this dude.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd like to intimidate someone.
I would love for you to intimidate
Yeah.
someone, in fact.
Yeah.
So go ahead and give me a roll.
Do you have a skill?
I do.
Oh
I
my
have a
gosh,
skill,
you're
and
so good at
80%. I'm
Okay.
very good at intimidating.
So, because you're using your wings,
Yeah.
I'm going to give you 2 advantage dice on this roll.
Oh,
Two
okay.
white dice, right?
This probably
I'm also
going to
give
be
you
a
1
problem.
challenge die on
Yeah.
this roll because you are technically stealing this stuff, right?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Isn't that one of the commandments, I think?
Thou
Shalt
shalt
not
not steal?
Oh, shoot. That's number 2.
But
That's
those
4.
commandments were given to humans.
I have to roll under.
Yes.
That's. Oh, did I roll?
You wrote. Yeah, you did too.
Reroll.
That's okay.
I did 2 numbers. 26. So I roll
Okay.
under, and then I'll re-roll these because I just messed this all up. So 2 advantages and 1 skull. They cancel each other out,
Yes,
right?
those cancel, so you're left with 1
So 1
blue.
advantage.
Okay, great.
As
Perfect.
there is a
Good.
feathered being in the street,
All right.
hovering slightly.
Okay, so you are you definitely intimidate this guy. He staggers back, falls on his ass, and begins kind of scrabbling backwards. You see, sort of in your peripheral vision, that the manager and security guard that were coming your way, they just kind of stop, and back up, and they're like, we want no part of this, right? And so basically, like anyone that was crowding around you, just like like completely back up.
Tilda Swinton from Constantine.
There
That's
you
the
go.
character.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And so not only do you manage to extricate yourself from the situation with the guy that's coming up and asking you for money, but also you manage to basically you have cowed the people around you enough that you're going to be able to leave with this food.
Push the
You're
cart
taking
down
it
the
to a
street.
food bank,
Yeah.
right?
Put the coat back on and
yeah.
then continue down the street.
Yeah. Additionally, because you rolled a boon on this, as you once you sort of land again and fold your wings back up, the guy who was harassing you see he was kind of scrabbling away from you, but you get a really good look at him, and you can see that he. At first, when you saw him, you thought he was like some kind of junkie or something like that. But then, as you get a closer look at him, you see he's probably just like a normal person, but he seems to be he seems to be suffering from some kind of like a concussion almost, right? And you notice that on right here at his hairline, his hair was kind of covering it up before. There's like a weird. It almost looks like a hieroglyph or something that's like half drawn right here. And you thought it was a tattoo at first, but then you realize it's like a scar, right? And it looks like basically like a half drawn hieroglyph right at his hairline. And then he sort of turns and bolts away.
Goddamn homeless Harry Potter.
Yeah. Sort of look at it quizzically, pick the marshmallow fluff back up, put it in the cart, and go to the food bank. I have brought an offering.
All right.
Leaves.
So you succeed, so you also get to mark off a step on your story progress.
Nice.
All right, and Cardinal Dark.
Yes. Okay.
What do you got
So the setup for this is that it's like one of the on the page the left hand panel is one of those ones that's all the way up and down the page, and so it's like it shows up like a really shitty apartment building. There's probably like smoke coming out of one of the windows, and there's like trash piled up around the outside, and then there's a sign on the outside of it that says like Faustus Manor or something, right? Like it's this crappy like tenement building, and so we see that, and then the first panel is like the street outside, and we get a close up of the wheel of a motorcycle that's just stopped, and the spokes are in the shape of crosses.
Oh, of course they are.
Because of course, yeah. And then the next set of panels is like a slow pan up across my all black and gray outfit with my combat pants with my many pouches. And then the last panel, of course, is Cardinal Dark taking off. I'm taking off my sunglasses, like my Ray-Bans in one hand.
It's like nighttime, and you.
Oh, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It reflects like the moonlight, and in the reflection, it's like Faustus Manor in the glasses. He takes them off, and one eye is all white. I've got a nasty scar on my face.
Of course.
Yeah, and like a brush cut. Basically, he looks like a soldier, but with all of this like extra silverware of Jesus. And I've got the priest collar.
The silverware of Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
So Cardinal Dark. Yeah. Get off the bike, and then there's a shot of me like grabbing my sword off of the side of the bike and going in. And so I've hunted. There's this demon because 'tis the season. There's a demon that has been pretending to be those like Salvation Army Santas.
Oh, right.
And then kidnapping children. And bringing them back to his lair to consume, to eat their bones. And so I've hunted this Santa demon to Faustus Manor, and I'm ready to finish the job. I'm here to kill him off.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, so you're approaching this this not Santa.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we could totally cut to the skip through going through all the thing, and we're in like the sub basement or whatever, and I'm headed to into his lair.
And so do you think that this not Santa lives here, or?
I mean, he lives in hell. He's a demon.
Okay, sure. All right.
Rodney. So
He's a demon, Rodney.
He's a demon, Rodney, and he lives in hell in the great pits of flame where all sinners are banished.
Indeed.
But currently he's squatting like many of the occupants of this place, both on the earth and in this building particularly.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So you approach the building, and like you say, it's run down. We're going to say this is in Capitol Hill, which in this version of Seattle is the bad neighborhood.
Okay.
So you're on Capitol Hill at Faustus Estates or Faustus Manor or whatever it is,
yeah.
right? And you go and you're sort of looking for the stairs down into like one of the basements. Like there's probably like an outside entrance into like one of the basement apartments, right?
Right.
And you're kind of looking for that, and you go into the alley around the side of the building, and as you are approaching where you see like that the stairs go down, As you're approaching that, you see there's someone else already in the alley here,
Oh,
right?
okay.
In fact, there's two people. It's two guys. They are. It's a man and a woman, and they are both wearing business suits, which is immediately very weird for like this part of town, right? They're both wearing business suits. They're both smoking cigarettes. You would almost say that they are fraternal twins. You're not 100% positive, but they look a lot alike. They both have blonde hair that's slicked back and
80s guys.
yeah, it's like slick straight back.
Damn.
But both of them, they have long hair that's almost the same length, comes down to about right here. But you can see it's like red at the tips. Looks like they used to have like dyed red hair, but like the last 2 inches are still red. And they're smoking cigarettes, leaning up against the building. And as you approach, the woman sort of pushes herself off the wall, flicks her cigarette away, and she says, "Listen, buddy, you're gonna want to keep on moving. This is not the place for casual stroll, if you know what I mean."
And like we get a panel of how I'm dressed, right?
Yeah.
And I look at her and I'm like,
You gotta look down at your own stuff. And
right?
What
Yeah.
am
I'm
I
just
wearing
like,
that?
do I look like I'm out for a stroll?
The other guy sort of leans forward, and you see like he takes the drag off his cigarette and kind of lights up his face for a second. And when he does, you don't think this guy's a demon, but boy, he sure looks like the kind of guy that traffics with demons, right? And especially like when the glow of the cigarette lights up his face, it's almost like his pupils are like silver reflective, right? And he says, "No, you look like the kind of person that comes to a bad part of town looking for trouble. And we're just telling you, for your own safety, pal, keep a move on. This place is."
I take the sword out of its scabbard and I throw the scabbard away because you buy them in bulk. You don't keep the scabbard. So I throw the scabbard away and I look at him and I say, "The power of Christ compels you to get out of my way."
All right. So it sounds like you're trying to intimidate this guy.
It sounds like I am, which I'm not great at.
Okay.
I almost always get in fights, but that's okay.
Do you have another skill that you'd rather use?
Well, I mean, I have convinced someone.
Okay, you could roll that. You're basically trying to convince him that you are not to be messed with.
Yeah.
In an
Okay.
intimidating
Yeah,
way.
in an intimidating way.
All right, so I'm going to give you one challenge die on this because these two are members of the Brimstone family, which is an organized crime family that operates in Capitol Hill, and they kind of run this place, right? In
Capitol Hill, nice.
That's very good. And that's what the locals call it.
Nice.
So they don't get pushed around a whole lot, right?
Yeah.
So go ahead and give me a roll.
Okay, let's see how it goes. I got 90%.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty good.
So
Oh, wow.
don't XCOM me here. All right, cool. I got a 12, and I got a little skull.
Oh, okay.
So I succeed, but at some complication.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So you basically you throw away your Costco brand katana scabbard.
Right. Totally.
Right?
Yeah, the scabbard probably hit somebody,
Right.
and it's fine.
And
Crossco.
yes. And so you've got the sword out, and the two of them look at each other, and they look at you, and they see your Jesus silverware, and they look back at each other. And the guy flicks his cigarette away, and he says, "All right, buddy. Well, we're not responsible for what happens here. Just, well, you might want to be careful." And the two of them leave. So you basically manage to convince them to leave.
Okay.
You go downstairs and get down to the basement, and clearly this is where the lair of this demon is, right?
Yeah.
It is. Clearly, like he's been squatting here in his human form, and you get down there, and
I just imagine there's a bunch of like ratty, bloodstained Santa costumes with like the beard like hanging on it.
Right. He's clearly has multiples, right? He goes through them in a hurry. And
He also
so
gets them from Costco.
Yeah,
Costco's
right.
so weird in this universe.
yeah, they have Santa suits and katanas or
Yeah.
just scabbards, I guess.
Anyways. You can't buy the katana there. You need a license for that.
That's right. You get them at pawn shops. So you get down there and no demon down here, right? And in fact, like it looks like there was some kind of struggle down here, and you don't see any signs that the demon was killed here. There's none of like the telltale burn marks on the floor or walls when a demon dies, right? But it looks like there's some kind of scuffle, and you see as you sort of come down. And what's your clergy, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. And you're a monster hunter?
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, so you get down here, and I assume that you're probably going to like sweep the room and do your normal investigative stuff, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Okay. So when you do, you kind of brush your hand along one wall and you feel the grooves there, and then you sort of shine your black light on the wall and you see look like hieroglyphs, but not like fully formed hieroglyphs, like a lot of like half created ones, and it kind of almost looks like they were like flash burned into the wall, not actually like carved.
Yeah. Okay.
All right,
Cool.
but you succeed.
right.
So you're going to get one
Cool.
bit of your story progress, or one mark in your story progress there. And so that's basically the thing we do at the start of every session, so we get a little glimpse into your characters' lives before we launch into the main.
I was really hoping I'd get a chance to meet or fight this demon so that I could say to him, "Get thee behind me, Santa."
Well, the issue's not over
maybe,
yet.
maybe later.
That's right.
There's still chance.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you have to consult someone who's an expert on the hell
There you go.
mouth.
All right, so the last thing we're going to do before we get started with the main conflict here is each of you needs to pick a team role. I have these team roles here. These are basically the tactical role that you play on your team. And
Do
so
you have one that's scaredy cat?
Coward is not a team role.
I have support, which is very
Hey,
support.
I play support.
Boom! Take that, Mercy.
I have leader, and I have controller. Yeah. So basically, what I have here are breaker. Breaker's really good at taking out lots of little guys. The striker is really good at hitting people with melee attacks. Artillery is really good at hitting people with ranged attacks. The tank is exactly what it sounds like. You defend yourself and your allies. The leader is sort of the tactical core of the team. They get to mess with the initiative system a little bit. Support is basically bolstering and keeping each of you alive and healthy and in fighting shape, so healing. And then controller is all about making it harder for bad guys to hurt you. So each of you is going to pick one of those. You can pick a new one at the start of each session, so this is not locking anything in for your character.
Oh, that's cool.
I feel
There's
I
so
feel
many that
like
appeal to me.
controller feel or the ranged one because I'm not.
Yeah.
Like Amy's not a puncher.
Controller
Nope.
or artillery.
Yeah.
Do you want to look at those ones?
Yeah.
What are Amy's powers again?
Darkness manipulation and dazzle. So it's
And flight, right?
And flight.
Okay,
So
great.
light and dark.
Yeah.
Throw them everywhere.
Okay,
Blind
cool.
you and then
Cool.
throw you into darkness.
Yeah, those seem like they make sense. Either of those ones. Blue Jay, what do you want to do? Do you want to do support, leader?
Actually, can I see what
Yeah.
the cards have
Yeah,
on them?
totally.
Oh, increase.
Because I was thinking with the energy blast that artillery might be useful.
Yeah, that could be good.
But
Oh, yeah, you get energy stuff.
That's true. Oh,
Yeah.
I
I
want to look at
I'll-
artillery. It increases the damage. Of
I'll
that.
probably take tank because my character is probably just really I'm good at getting beat up because I have toughness and strength, and also like suffering is awesome.
yeah, right.
look at
Yeah, I don't really
support.
have anything that like helps people with resistance or anything like that, so I don't think that support would actually like be
Okay.
helpful.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I mean, you have what's your energy? Oh, it's energy blast. not
energy blast.
manipulation. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So it's
You
an
could
area.
transmute me
It's an
into a
area attack, which
tougher
means I
version
could do
myself.
Yeah.
breaker.
So I
actually,
can obstruct, precision, area, or hindering.
Yeah, you got all the like.
Yeah, a lot of the
good
power
stuff.
stunts in there. Yeah, cool.
I'm really good at beating people up and getting beaten up, and then sometimes clairvoying, but not very often.
okay.
Sometimes every so often.
So I feel like I could be breaker. I could be like more of a like stand back and be like a leader type person. But I don't.
Leader definitely like helps the whole group too.
Yeah.
So we can mess around with initiative. Oh. Precision, you can swap the digits of the number you roll.
But I
on your
don't feel like
percentile
I would
die.
be very
Oh, that's
good at
dope.
controlling
The
or
flip-flop.
directing either of you, like character wise.
It's fine.
Yeah, that's fair.
Um,
I
I
am
mean,
used
but-
to having a leader.
But yeah, the thing exactly. That's right. But the thing
That's
is, if you
true.
take the role like leader, then
It's just like
you're setting a stake in the ground, right? Like
Yeah.
it would be disingenuous for us to be like, you're not the boss of me, because it's like, no,
Well,
you have the card.
I literally have
Yeah.
a card that says I am in
Right,
fact the boss. of
right.
it.
Think about how long they put up with Cyclops. It's because he took the leader card early on and
These,
wouldn't let
what
it
do
go.
these symbols here show?
Cooldown.
Those are time tokens. that we
Yeah.
use to use for those,
Oh,
right?
time
Yep.
tokens.
They're
That's
go on those
rad.
cards and come off at the start of each of your turns. And when there's time tokens on your card, you can't use
Yeah,
them.
Blue, did you just want to fire me the tank roll?
Yeah. That's you. I'll be leader. Yeah, sure. I'm the
Take a
leader
look at-
now.
Artillery, striker. Striker's for melee. I
Strikers
will
for melee,
probably-
artillery's for
I've
range.
I've I'm
I assume all of these They don't specify a range.
That is correct.
Okay, I just make a decision.
You were going to be
I'm-
describing how you use your powers, so...
I decided that because you two are basically
these two
like
strikers.
teenagers, I'm probably used to handling your garbage.
I'm not a teenager. I'm a grown-ass man.
Uh-huh.
I've seen
I feel
things
like
you don't understand.
I'm gonna go with artillery because I actually have the controller ability with one of my
Yep.
abilities.
Okay, cool.
Exactly.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I can use it as an obstructing attack.
Okay,
Cool.
cool.
So I'll take
All
artillery
right.
so I can just make everything hurt more.
Excellent.
Precisely.